Everyone thought it was just a useless book. The man picked it up from under the damaged shelf upon entering the library. Only he knew it contained a powerful technique lost for 1,000 years. Mastering just one move from it could conquer the world. The story starts with the man spending 40 years gathering materials to travel back in time. He lost an eye and an arm, and transformed from a spirited young man into a gray-haired older man. However, when he brought these items to the Guiling sect's leader, Guiling's made a request. If you really manage to go back in time, you must find me, and stop me from getting married because the Guiling sect has a secret technique. Once enabled, it can send them back in time, but no one has managed to achieve this. The secret ritual requires gathering for sacred items. These include the Thunder Bell of the Wind Heaven sect, the Divine Censer of the Dragon God sect, and the Fire Carp Gallbladder, and the Demonic Spirit from the Demonic sect. Additionally, you need 5 million gold coins. However, no one has ever gathered the first 4 items. Until one man, after 40 relentless years, finally arrived at the Guiling sect with them. Guilingzi wondered about the determination to return to the past. Coldly replied, he sought revenge against Hua Wuji, the greatest figure throughout history. The man was the second son of Heavenly Demon, and Hua Wuji killed his father, his treacherous brother, but not the reason for his vengeance. It was because when Hua Wuji wiped out the demonic cult, he slaughtered defenseless servants and children, not even sparing the animals. Since I can't kill him in this era, I must travel back in time to do it. Hearing this, Guilingji's EI's face turned serious. He asked the man to stop the marriage if he returns. The man laughed, I promise. Moments after making his request, with the 4 sacred items prepared, Guilingji's eye chanted and invisible energy filled the room. In an instant, a portal appeared and Guilingji's eye exclaimed, I did it. But when he turned around, he saw the man slumped weakly on the floor. In that instant, Ghulish's eyes dimmed. He turned and headed for the portal. But the next second, his body froze, and the man's figure appeared behind him like a specter, demanding angrily, how could you do this? Ghoulish kept saying, I'm sorry, looking deeply remorseful. The man released his grip and smiled. If it were anyone else, I'd never let go, but since it's you, I understand. Thank you for waiting a lifetime for me. As he finished speaking, the world suddenly came to a standstill, and in the man's ear, a voice echoed, congratulations, you've passed all the trials. An old man appeared. The man asked, who are you? I am the one who can take you. Do you really think some spiritual items can fight fate and change the past? The real essence of the grand return is not rare treasures, but the sacrifices made to get them. Guilingzi, the hardest test was easily conquered by the man. So, can I return to the past now? The old man didn't answer but asked what he'd do after going back. I want to take back control of my life. Like my anger towards Hua Wuji, I won't drift or be controlled anymore. Hearing this, the old man faded away, leaving a message. I look forward to your new life. The world returned to normal, and the man resolutely walked towards the time portal. Behind him, Guilingzi pleaded, don't forget our agreement. I have to stop my wedding at all costs. As the man vanished into the white light, when he opened his eyes, he saw a crowd cheering for him. At the same moment, a piercing gaze came from the stands. It was his heavenly demon father. Before he could regain his composure, a shrill voice sounded in his ear, young Master Li, how long will you keep me waiting? At this moment, he realized he had truly returned to the past. He was back on the day of the demon struggle, where he once tried to reverse his failure. He tried every method possible, but in the end, he was ousted from the fight for the heavenly demon successor. The man wore a wistful expression. As he drifted off in thought, the man beside him grumbled impatiently. He recalled Ping Hao, the 5th disciple of the Blood Blade Demon, only after seeing his face clearly. This man marked the start of his failures and turned to gaze at his father. Seeing his father's helpless look, he finally understood at that moment. His father had known all along that he was poisoned with a disruptive toxin. His father showed no concern, wanting to see how he'd surmount the challenge. He thought he could take down Ping Hao in one move without internal energy. But now the man chose not to show his true strength and boldly announced to the gathered heroes, I'll face Ping Hao without using inner power, and the crowd erupted in shock. This new battle could decide who will become the next heavenly demon. When the heavenly demon's father declared the next leader would be chosen from within, it shook the sect, proving strength could make one the heavenly demon. To prove his seriousness, the father organized a martial arts contest within a sect. During this battle, participants could challenge the heavenly demons to sons. The heavenly demon promised to grant a wish to anyone who won. To secure victory, Ping Hao bribed the kitchen servant to lace the man's meal with a power-sapping poison, which caused his complete defeat before due to this vile trick. But when he told his father, he got no response. Instead, he gave him a disdainful look, blaming him for falling for him. So this time he planned to defeat his opponent differently. Hearing he wouldn't use inner strength, the crowd started to jeer. After being mocked by the crowd, Ping Hao surprisingly fell for it and angrily declared he wouldn't use inner strength either. Thus, their contest of pure strength began, quickly revealing their disparity. With decades of martial arts expertise in a young body, he knocked Ju Pinghao down without even drawing his weapon. Having returned to the past, he was determined to prevent another tragedy. With the battle over, everyone wondered what reward the man would choose. He simply expressed, "I want to go hunting with my father." The heavenly demon was briefly stunned by the request. He replied, "We'll leave at dawn," and walked off the stage. After a moment, the man returned to his room and studied his youthful face, noting how different it was from before. Yet, as he stared, he grew silent again. Now he had to find Huo Wuji and eliminate him before he grew stronger. But finding Huo Wuji wasn't an easy task. He emerged in the martial world like he had descended from the heavens. A single action destroyed both the Martial Alliance and the Evil Path Alliance. After eliminating the demon cult, he vanished from the martial world, leaving little known. Sending people across the Central Plains to find him will likely catch his attention. The only option is to become stronger than Huo Wuji. As the man pondered his next move, the door suddenly swung open, and a familiar voice echoed in his ears. He turned, and upon seeing the figure, his heart was flooded with guilt. It was Lian, his towering and robust bodyguard. In his previous life, he hadn't known that Lian had learned martial arts solely to protect him. The full-body petrification technique temporarily hardens the body to stone. However, it comes with a fatal side effect: the practitioner's body begins to gain weight. In a past life, when Huo Wuji attacked, Lian used her body to shield him from a lethal strike. It was thanks to her that he survived. Hearing Lian's voice again, he realized how extraordinary this girl truly was. She was a natural beauty, and everyone predicted she'd become the world's most beautiful woman. But this lovely, captivating girl suddenly became overweight in front of everyone. Back then, he had no idea. After the girl gained weight, she was heartbroken and began to distance herself. He finally learned why the girl had gained weight. To protect him, she gave up her beauty and learned the art of full-body petrification. When he saw Ai's chubby face again, he vowed to help her overcome the petrification skill's side effects. He stood there dazed, staring at the girl before him. The girl quickly noticed his strange behavior. He knew Lian, his personal guard, noticed the change, so he told her to follow, saying, "I'll show you something even stranger." Without looking back, he rushed to the kitchen. He summoned everyone in the kitchen, including the head chef and the helpers. He asked sharply, "Why did you do this?" But the chef didn't realize what he meant until he asked again, "Why poison my food?" Everyone was stunned as soon as he spoke. At this point, the assistant was pale with fear, frantically shouting, "It wasn't me." But the man was already aware of everything about the assistant. He had massive gambling debts, losing even his parents' and friends' money. In the end, he recklessly accepted Ju Pinghao's bribe and knelt down. Desperate to beg for mercy, he was silenced by the man's swift sword strike. Witnessing this, the head chef collapsed to his knees, sobbing uncontrollably. "I'm sorry, young master. It's my fault for not disciplining properly. Please punish me." The man didn't blame him. "Why do you think it's your fault, Uncle Lin? Blame the one who poisoned." "But what happened in the kitchen is my responsibility," interrupted Uncle Lin. "If something bad happens with the cult, is that my father's responsibility too?" Everyone was speechless. "If that's the case, why take the blame yourself? How about making me some shredded chicken noodles tonight? It's been a while." With that, he walked out of the kitchen without looking back. Lian quickly followed, walking behind him, hesitant to speak. She felt the young master was a bit different today. Early the next morning, the father asked about the pack on the man's back. "What had you packed?" The man simply replied that these are what he needed for the next few days. But the father replied, "We're only staying on the mountain for a day. We'll be back tomorrow." The man didn't take it seriously. "Who knows? Maybe we'll have so much fun we want to stay longer." The father rolled his eyes and said, "Dream on." Though he hasn't spent long with his father, he's realized his memories of his father as silent and stern were wrong. But in reality, his father was much more talkative than he'd thought. Hearing his father say, "You did well," the man knew it was about him. Back then, when he defeated Ju Pinghao, even without tapping into his inner strength, his past life's combat experience allowed him to effortlessly show strength beyond his peers. Confident his father noticed ages ago, he joked, "I've been keeping my strength hidden, not just a bluffing cat, but a beast with hidden claws." His father paused, turned, and said, "I agree. But if you're a beast, why hide your claws?" "I haven't really considered that." "So you're still just a cat," his father said, continuing on his path. "What level have you reached with the Fight Ian Sword technique?" The Fight Ian Sword technique is the Heavenly Demon's unique art. Though inferior to his father's 9 Disasters demon technique, it stopped pure martial arts. Knowing he couldn't deceive his father, the man answered honestly. He said, "I've mastered it." But as soon as the words left his mouth, a sharp wind grazed his cheek. He instinctively turned his head, narrowly dodging the strike as his father watched in surprise. "Have you really mastered it?" The man, a bit shaken, touched the cheek brushed by the wind. "Why didn't you ask before you struck?" What if I hadn't dodged it? Lying comes with a cost. If you've truly mastered it, dodging my blow should be easy. My face looks like yours, father. It would be a shame if it got scarred. What a waste that would be. Father snorted dismissively and continued walking, ignoring his complaint. He was surprised what father would be so harsh to his son. He had only taken a few steps. When his father spoke again, at your age too. Master the fight and sword technique is truly impressive. He was taken aback. He mastered the fight and sword technique in his 30s. Naturally, his father was surprised. They walked on side by side. Though silent, it was as if they were conversing wordlessly. The man broke the silence first, asking, "Father, who taught you to hunt?" "My brother," the father replied. Surprised, the man asked, "I had an uncle?" His father's expression quickly turned somber. "He died by my hand when he was about your age." After a brief silence, the man said firmly, "You did the right thing. Otherwise, I wouldn't exist." The father paused and looked at him intently. In a low voice, he murmured, "I had no choice back then." The man understood the weight of his father's words. His father must be in deep pain. Brother against brother is never easy. In his past life, he'd seen many who seemed successful yet were inwardly scarred. That's why he intentionally said those words. It was to help his father relieve his inner stress. "Since even you couldn't do it, father, then please don't expect me to find a way that doesn't involve killing my brother. Besides, my brother is despicable, not worth my sympathy." The father turned and looked at the man, his gaze colder than before. "Seems like you've been speaking ill of me behind my back." When he heard the man speaking against his brother behind his back, his eyes were full of disappointment, but the man didn't care. Because compared to his remarkable brother, he was always a disappointment. This made him more resolute not to be indecisive and controlled like in his past life. As their pace quickened once more, gazing at his father's familiar yet strange figure, the man wondered. In his past life, he wasn't married. He had no idea what it felt like to have children. He was curious about what he meant to his father. Then, his father suddenly halted. He pointed ahead and asked what the man saw. All he saw, following his father's finger, was a thick forest. "That's our dinner." The man started to draw his bow, but his father stopped him. "If you can't see the prey, how can you catch it?" His father told him to follow his guidance. "Close your eyes and feel." This technique gauges an opponent's strength by sensing surrounding vibrations. It's about channeling energy outward. He closed his eyes and slowly let it flow. He felt nothing but his father's presence. His father's presence was yet profound, as if hiding immense power. His father's voice came again, "Release a thread of energy and gently draw it out like silk. Extend it slowly." In the past, he used his energy only for attack or defense. This was his first time using energy to sense his surroundings. As his energy spread, he finally sensed a faint sign of life. Does it have coarse hair and a slender build? Is it a wild boar? Father glanced at the man, surprised. "I guessed wrong even when I was this far away." The man realized, "I have the divine martial physique." But as soon as father heard divine martial physique, his expression changed. His expression subtly shifted. In a past life, the man always felt resentment towards his father. Why, despite seeking strength, was he so indifferent to my divine martial physique? He finally understood that he needed to show true talent and strength to gain everyone's respect, and the scent of grilled meat spread through the forest at night. Father wondered when the man learned it to handle game. The man casually said he learned it from a book. Noticing his father's doubt, he quickly changed the subject. "The tiger skin you're sitting on was specially prepared for you. Carrying it up the mountain wore me out." A barely noticeable smile appeared on the father's lips. "Do you want to hunt with me to win my favor and be chosen as my heir?" "Of course not. I know you won't be swayed by something like that. Besides, I can become the sect leader even without your help." The father felt somewhat assured by the man's confidence. "Why join me hunting?" He didn't hide his reasons. "Two reasons. First, I wanted to learn from you to become stronger, but I've already achieved that." The father was taken aback by this reason and fixed his sharp gaze on him. Tried to see through him. The man quickly clarified, "I'm not getting stronger to become the leader. Father, you're still in your prime. I don't want to waste my youth chasing that position while you're here. If you could teach me the 9 disasters demon technique, I'd be satisfied." He needed to acquire the 9 disasters demon technique and master it to the fullest, even surpassing his father's level. Even his father, after reaching the 10th level, was defeated by Hua Wuji. The father remained expressionless, deep in thought, and then proceeded. "And the second reason? I want to spend some time alone with you. It's our first time, right?" A sarcastic smile crossed his father's lips. "Such a cheap sentiment." The man retorted, "How can spending time with the world's top master be cheap? It's like drinking the finest wine." His father's speechlessness showed he was taken aback. He turned away, unsure how to respond. Watching his father, he realized his memories held nothing but fear. This time, he wouldn't let his memories remain so empty. He did this for himself, not his father. Early the next morning, he had packed his belongings. He thought his father would take him down the mountain, but then his father spoke. After such a journey, we should at least try to catch a tiger, don't you think? The man knew he didn't mean it. He wasn't truly interested in hunting a tiger, he was just pleased with the man's performance over the past 2 days. He wanted to spend more time together, so the man put on a cheerful front and followed his father's footsteps. The two entered the dense forest once again, but before they had gone far, the father suddenly told the man to close his eyes and said the target was on the right. It was 100 meters away, slightly farther than yesterday. This time sense the wind's direction and let your energy flow with it. The man was puzzled but didn't dare to ask further. Since beginning martial arts, he never considered blending his energy with the wind. This is not only. No one ever taught him, and he never found it in any secret manual. This made him feel excited like never before. He cautiously released a thread of energy, just like yesterday. His father's voice guided him to extend it quickly to the target. Extending energy was one thing, but merging it with the wind was another. He sensed the wind and energy, yet they stayed parallel, never meeting. He tried everything, but nothing worked. His father stood silently, not urging him. Just quietly stood there, hands behind his back. This left him feeling a bit lonely and down. In an unintentional moment, his energy mingled with the wind. Riding the wind, it spread until it touched the tiger, surprising the man. He opened his eyes, sensing exactly where the tiger was. His father also stared at him, surprised. He didn't expect him to pick up the technique so fast. Keep practicing, the more energy you release, the longer you live. The man eagerly promised to remember. As night fell, he pulled his bracelet from the bag. After finishing the wine, his father couldn't stop praising its excellence. But he pretended the wine was too strong. Though he's a strong drinker, he didn't want to flaunt it in front of his father. But his father mocked him. What kind of sorcerer can't handle their drink? He shrugged it off, thinking, weak drinking isn't a problem. A devious mind is worse than poison. His father chuckled sarcastically and asked unexpectedly, would you kill me to save yourself? He paused and said, I wouldn't. How could his son harm his parents? Yet, he knew he was lying. If need be, he would kill him. It was their first conversation like this. He asked back, Father, would you kill me? His father didn't answer directly. If you have to think about it then, don't mention human nature. Saw the answer in his father's gaze at that moment. Since returning from the hunt, he went straight to the training room. He diligently practiced the technique of ki extension his father taught. He could now skillfully blend his ki with the wind, releasing multiple strands. It increased from 1 to 4 strands, which he found truly fascinating. It felt like he gained extra legs, now able to sense incoming threats. And if he kept honing his skills, he could release ki strands and uncover invisibility techniques. Yet, even with such a strong father, he eventually lost to Hua Wuji. He even completely destroyed the Heavenly Demon Palace. The Heavenly Demon Palace, sanctuary of the Heavenly Demon sect, has 3 formations and 6 layers of defense. Centered around the Heavenly Demon Palace, the 8 demon lords lead their forces from 8 directions. They continuously guard the sect leader. In the north, the Northern Heavenly Sword Clan is led by the Flower Sword Lord, All-Master Swordsman. The Southern Blade Sect, led by the Blood Sky Saber Demon, is known for their powerful blade techniques. In the east and west, the Undefeated Fist Demon and Soul Capturing Demon command Eastern Fist Gate and Western Illusion City, both brutal. Experts from various fields guard the other for directions. The seasoned man thought enemies breached outside until he discovered otherwise. That night, the palace's external defenses weren't touched. This meant someone among the 8 demon lords brought Hua Wuji inside. Regarding the traitor, it could be one or many, but it doesn't matter anymore. To him, all the 8 demon lords are traitors. After his father's death, not a single one chose revenge. Instead, they chose seclusion on the mountain and shame. This would happen later. He's well aware of the lies they'll lead in their eventual ends. He intends to use the 8 demon lords to his advantage, striding purposefully to the door. Then a piercing voice came from outside. A group was shouting abuse at Lian. You fat pig, fetch your Master Li now. He walked out slowly, ignoring their yelling. Instead, he turned to Lian with concern. Didn't I ask you to take care of other things while I was training? Have you been here the whole time? Lian softly said, it's my duty to protect you. It looks like she's been staying here non-stop for the past few days. While they were talking, someone approached them. Young Master Li, you emerged. Didn't expect you to be secluded for days. Speaking was Liang Dong's second disciple of the Blood Sky Saber Demon, as big a scoundrel as Ju Pinghao. He's so arrogant because his father declared that anyone in the sect could be an heir to the Heavenly Demon sect. This inspired some sect members to gain fame by defeating the Heavenly Demon's son. The man coldly questioned, did you need something? Haven't you realized you crippled junior brother Ju? So, are you expecting me to look after him? Hearing this, Liang Dong was enraged. Do you think I'm joking? But the man wasn't falling for it. We're not close enough to be joking around. Liang Dong was livid at the man's disdainful attitude. He demanded the man take responsibility for what happened to junior brother. The man knew it was an excuse to get an apology. The Blood Sky Saber Demon hasn't named an heir for the Southern Blade sect, so all his disciples are finding ways to win his favor. Yang Dong wanted to use this chance to impress Blood Sky Saber Demon. He exposed motives. Do you really think this will make you the Blood Sky Saber Demon's heir? The man's smile was more mocking than friendly, but his face turned serious the next moment. You're the one who should apologize. Yang Dong was taken aback. Apologize? You insulted my guard. You have to apologize to her. Yang Dong eyed Lian with utter disdain. Lian was reluctant to pursue the issue, but he wouldn't let her be wronged again and strode towards Lian Dong. Kneel and apologize to my guard, and I might just let you go. This enraged Yang Dong, who yelled, I'd rather die than kneel. The man had been waiting for this. He simply smiled coldly. Yang Dong slowly drew his weapon, shocked. Are you crazy? You'll kill me for that pig? The man asked, aiming his sword. My subordinate is worth it. The tension rose. Yang Dong squinted, drawing his weapon with murderous intent. Fine, I'll take him armed for my junior. Confident, he believed he could defeat the man. In an instant, the man's sword pierced his skull. Blame your mouth for insulting my subordinate, and for not apologizing. Everyone was stunned, unable to believe it. The man really did kill Yang Dong. Lian was stunned. Was this still the young master she knew? The other two exclaimed. The man demanded, can you handle the consequences of your actions? But the man remained cold, saying, your mouth stinks as much as your seniors. Hearing this, the two fell silent. Tell your master everything exactly as it happened. If you dare to lie, I'll hold you accountable. And so they carried Lian Dong's body away, heads hung low. At that moment, Lian looked at the man, her eyes a mix of emotions. She didn't understand why the young master would act for someone as insignificant as her. How could he not know what was worrying her? Even though the Blood Sky Saber Demon won't back down, the man reassured Lian not to worry. He merely dealt with someone deserving it, and the Blood Sky Saber Demon wouldn't dare react. If he intervenes, he gains nothing and faces criticism for his student. Indeed, the man remains unscathed, and he stands to gain much, drawing everyone's focus onto himself. If succession is point-based, today he surely scored one. Hearing his master's words, Lian relaxed. Thank you, young master. It made me truly happy when you stood up for me. The man smiled slightly. Of course, you should thank me. And never forget this day. Lian beamed. Now that I'm back, keep smiling like you did today always. After 40 years, he finally returned to the past, believing he could control everything. But to his surprise, not only his father, but this seemingly. And even the old man with GE proved too much for him. Now he sat in the courtyard, gazing at the bright moon. He remembered after the demonic sect was destroyed, he fell into despair in his past life. Without revenge against Hua Wuji, he might have fallen apart. So this time he had to be completely ready. Just as he was lost in thought, a cold flash appeared under the moonlight, revealing a massive steel blade at his throat, as icy gleam radiating menace. The man could see his own shocked expression, as if looking from above. As the blade slowly descended, a thin, wrinkled figure stood before him, with eyes as sharp as an eagle's. It was the Blood Sky Saber Demon, unexpectedly confronting him so soon. A demonic aura from the blade made the man out. Can I really avoid this blade? He felt suffocated as his hair stood on end. Even with past life training, his current skills couldn't help him dodge. As tension peaked, the blade's cold aura vanished. In an instant, the Blood Sky Saber Demon sat beside him, lightly poking the man's side with a smile. Why did you kill my disciple? He sounded like a kindly old man. A stark contrast to his murderous demeanor just moments ago. The man didn't hold back, because he was too stupid. What's more foolish than provoking Chan Mo's beloved son? Hearing this, the Blood Sky Saber Demon's sharp gaze fixated on the man. The next moment, the Blood Sky Saber Demon held his blade to the man's neck again. Maybe I should cut off your head. Present it to the leader to test affection. The blade's chill is clear. The man stepped back. Instantly, the Blood Sky Saber Demon slashed the ground, splitting a line into two. The longer part is 9 times the shorter. This reflects Tian Mo's regard for us. I am the long and you are the short. The man paused briefly, then drew another line through the middle of the long one with his finger. As his son, I should have at least this much. The Blood Sky Saber Demon smirked. If I gave your head to the cult leader, would he kill me? Are you underestimating the heavenly demon's emotions as a father? Shall we find out? Asked the Blood Sky Saber Demon, eyeing the man. An icy, murderous, intense surge. No need, I already know the answer. The heavenly demon has 2 sons, but you only one. He laughed. You're much smarter than my disciple. 2 bad luck's always against me. You better keep your distance. With that, he vanished into the night as a shadow, watching the Blood Sky Saber Demon fade into the distance. The man shook off his shock and quickly examined himself. Where the Blood Sky Saber jabbed him with the hilt, 2 venomous bruises formed. This old bastard isn't easy to cross. He seems mad at first glance, but he's actually a calculating man with every move carefully planned. Though the man stayed on guard from the moment the demon appeared, he still walked right into the trap. Even returning to the past doesn't guarantee that he'd be safe. Blood Sky Saber Demon twice threatened to behead him. This thought plunged the man into deep contemplation about the old man. Is he here to test me? My first opponent, the Blood Sky Saber Demon. The next day, he was still deeply engaged in practicing his father's secret techniques. His vital energy coursed deep through the darkness. He sensed everything around him, even the smallest insect, but then, suddenly, his energy was blocked by an unseen force. Curious, he went to the rooftop and saw his father watching from nearby. Before he could speak, his father bluntly asked, "I heard you killed the Blood Sky Saber Demon's apprentice." He didn't deny that scoundrel deserved it, but the Blood Sky Saber Demon already confronted me and demanded I punish you. He was taken aback upon hearing this. It seems they're using my father to see if I'm seen as the heir. Then the Heavenly Demon spoke. So, I've decided to punish you. But the man was confused. It was clearly his disciple's doing. You have no reason to punish me. I can come up with a reason easily enough. Alright, when we were hunting, you asked who among the 8 demon lords I trust most. I didn't answer then, but now I will. It's not just the demon lords, I trust no one. Hearing this, the man was shocked, but before he could speak, the Heavenly Demon continued. You once said you wanted to reorganize our sect's rules. Now tell me what you truly think. Hearing this, the man's gaze dimmed, and he hesitated. Then he finally spoke his heart, unsure of when it all began. We've lost what it truly means to be on the demonic path. His father was surprised, not expecting such words. I believe the demonic way is meant to eradicate absolute evil. So I don't see the righteous path as our enemy. He knew these words would be hard for his father to accept. But he went on saying there are evils in this world beyond human imagination, so vile and cruel that even demons feel ashamed. I think the justice and the righteous path can handle lesser evils, but not the absolute ones. Because of their compassion, they can never strike down mad villains. Only by using even more ruthless means can we truly eliminate these pure evils. Father listened silently to the man, his gaze unusually intense. That's why I don't care whether I'm seen as good or evil. Only when those evils which even the righteous path cannot conquer bow before us, will the entire martial world truly bow to us. This is the true dark path. These insights weren't taught by any dark sect. These are lessons learned from countless brushes with death, one's father surely never heard before. If we can't establish a true dark path, it surely won't endure. So to survive, we must reform from within. Even my father, known for his calm demeanor, looked shocked when he heard those words. He started to consider things, and in that moment, his gaze turned piercing. I finally understood why the Blood Sky Saber Demon chose me to punish you. He must have seen something special in you. He wanted to test you, seeing my potential as his successor. Or maybe he thinks you're a traitor to the sect. A danger. But regardless, the old man does have a keen eye, my father thought as he looked at the man. His gaze was complex, and at that moment he seemed to reach a decision. He turned and simply said, "Follow me." Moments later, the father guided the man to a hidden stone chamber in the forest. On the stone door, a plaque inscribed with Little Heaven Cave. The Little Heaven Cave serves as the Heavenly Demon sect's trial grounds reserved for those with the potential to become the sect leader's heir are allowed entry. They say entering Little Heaven Cave is easy, but leaving is another struggle. Fewer than half who face the trials manage to survive. Even the man's ambitious brother hesitated to step in. Curious, the man asked his father, "Do you intend for me to enter?" His father's brow furrowed slightly. "I went in when I was your age." Curious, the man asked, "How long were you in there?" 2 months, came the reply. The man's immediate reaction was one of shock. His father was known as the most gifted among all the heavenly demons, and yet it took him 2 months. The heavenly demon clearly noticed the man's confusion. "I took 2 months, while others take an average of 3 years to get out." This place was the man's punishment from the heavenly demon. The man glanced at his father's impassive face. He was unsure if his father truly didn't care about his fate, or did he hope he'd grow stronger inside. "But whatever it is, I will definitely emerge sooner than you did. Entering this place means you can gain eligibility to become a celestial demon, but only 5 out of every 10 make it out alive. And on average, they spend 3 years, even those regarded as. Even the most gifted current celestial demon took 2.5 months. But now this place has become a means of punishing men." The man slowly walks along the passage, which isn't as dark and damp as he imagined. Instead, it is meticulously clean and well decorated. This makes the man very curious about what kind of place this really is. Why so many never return, and as the man ventures deeper, after passing through the first passage, he saw at the plaza entrance. A stone tablet details the stage's trial. 1. Don't use any sword energy to defeat all enemies. 2. If you don't finish in time, wait 10 days to try again. Ready? Step into the red circle. The man glanced around and saw in the corner several large jars full of energy-sustaining pills. Without hesitation, he stepped into the red circle. As the ground split open, dozens of wooden figures sprang up. Each figure is marked with a red target, indicating their weak points. The man instinctively drew his sword. With quick swipes of his sword, the wooden figures toppled in succession. Just as the man thought it was easier than expected, the wooden figures unexpectedly began to sink, and the man sensed something was off. If they sank completely, he'd have to wait 10 more days to retry. He quickly shifted focus, targeting the figures about to disappear underground. His speed built up until, at the last moment, he shattered all the wooden figures. Though it seemed to test agility, it was more about judgment. Only split-second decisions could lead to success. With the first test over, the stone door to the next slowly opened as the man was about to enter when he saw the walls covered in writing. Messages from past challengers. Some tried many times while others thought they'd never leave. At the bottom, the man spotted some familiar handwriting. Bunch of losers. His father wrote that, making him chuckle. Looks like his dad cleared this stage in one go. But he was insulting his own ancestors. That's pretty arrogant, isn't it? At the second trial site, he saw walls lined with all kinds of weapons. A stone tablet stood at the entrance too. In 1 hour, he used the wall weapons to cut the iron ball in half. You can use either sword energy or sword Dora. If you don't finish the trial in time, you can retry in 20 days. Ready? Stand in the red circle. The man took a deep breath. He stepped into the red circle again, and immediately, a stone platform rose bearing a watermelon-sized iron ball. The man stared at the iron ball, lost in thought, observing it carefully. With sword Dora, I could easily split 100 at ease within an hour. There must be another reason. He picked up an iron sword and swung it forcefully. With a sharp crack, the iron sword shattered. But the iron ball was unscathed. It wasn't that simple after all. He unleashed sword ki to advance to the next level, channeling energy into the blade. As energy poured into the sword, it radiated a bluish glow. This was sword ki. Just as he was about to deliver his strike, a sudden thought hit him. Isn't this too easy? With double the penalty time of the first stage, it can't be this straightforward to pass. Maybe I should see how others have approached it. He went to the wall to examine the challenger's notes. Nearly everyone had used sword ki to split the iron ball. They found it deceptive not to use sword ki. At the bottom, he spotted his father's note. It's crazy, lose your cool, and you're out. The man was perplexed as he read the sentence. Normally, his father would have scolded him outright like before, but he added another sentence. This surely had to be a warning. He started to rethink, noting the first rule said Stang gang use was permitted, but it wasn't mandatory. His father's warning clarified one thing: he must not use Jian gang. Using Jian gang made the sword heat up. He needed to find a way within an hour that didn't involve using sword Dora or Gis in Gan. He spent the next period trying various methods, yet none left a single mark on the iron ball. As time passed, the man started to feel restless. He refused to believe he'd only succeed by using sword Gan. He sighed and accidentally released a wisp of ki. As the ki escaped, he recalled the ki extension technique his father taught him. He slowly closed his eyes. He used ki to sense the iron ball's surface. As it became enveloped, he suddenly opened his eyes wide, as he discovered an imperceptible pattern on the iron ball's surface that ran all around the ball's surface. In that moment, he knew this was the answer and closed his eyes again. With his eyes closed, he channeled energy into his sword and struck along the groove. With a swift stroke, the iron sphere split into two, and the man was overjoyed. To his astonishment, a pill was hidden inside the sphere. A magic essence spill, consuming it would greatly boost one's skills. However, as a secret elixir of the heavenly demon sect, it takes a decade to make one. Now, it's placed inside the iron sphere as a trial for future seekers. Yet, over the years, scarcely anyone has succeeded in obtaining it. If they use sword ki to crack it open, the ensuing heat would ruin the pill inside. Guided by his father's advice, the man successfully secured the magic essence spill. Right now, what he needs most is internal energy. He couldn't help but sigh that Jianao was truly a lifesaver. The designer of this mechanism is a true genius. It's the perfect reward for deep thinkers. With that in mind, he promptly took the magic essence spill and swallowed it in one gulp. Then he sat cross-legged and began his cultivation. A refreshing sensation instantly spread through his body. His meridians expanded continuously under the pill's influence. As energy flowed steadily into his core rapidly expanded, visibly so. He had consumed many pills in his past life, making absorbing its power easy for him. Hours passed and noticed as he fully absorbed the magic essence spill's power. He stood up, swinging his fists a few times. As power surged through him, he laughed aloud, thanks to his father's teachings on ki extension. The ki extension technique was to help him locate the groove on the iron ball. Once he calmed down, the man moved on to the next stage. He reached the entrance of the third trial's ground, where a stone tablet listed 3 rules. 1. Distinguish between life and death. 2. If defeated, you can challenge again after 5 days. 3. Stand in the red circle when ready. The man fell into deep thought. This left him slightly uneasy, but he didn't hesitate. He stepped into the red circle confidently, and a stone table emerged. rose from the ground with 10 herbs neatly arranged on it. He instantly grasped the challenge this level presented. In the past, he traveled far to find the materials mentioned by the ghostly spirit, honing his herb identification skill. Hence, he can easily tell apart various herbs and poisonous plants. Moreover, he understands their effects thoroughly. This level was a breeze for him, and he confidently picked up an herb. The stone able soon descended slowly, and another one rose. It still held 10 herbs, though the varieties were entirely different. This level requires to correct choices in a row to prevent anyone from passing. It's unimaginable how hard this is for those unfamiliar with herbs. Already incorporated into the previous translation. After picking herbs twice, the stone door to the next level opened. The man walked to the stone wall and read the messages left by others. Most found the answer by tasting through trial and error, and some even lost all their hair from too many attempts. At the bottom, he saw his father's message, which also began with a curse. Yet, he left a warning: don't rely on luck. He knew his father had taken the safest route and spent considerable time on this level. Fortunately, both father and son kept their hair. The fourth stage is also the final challenge, surviving the life and death illusion array. But the life and death illusion array is an extremely dangerous challenge. Dying in the array means real death, so the man examined carefully the messages on the wall. This time, his father's note wasn't filled with curses. All he left was "don't stop." Those words felt like advice for his future. He took a deep breath and steadied himself. As he stepped into the red circle, a hum filled the air. The life and death illusionary activated, altering the surroundings. Suddenly, he was in a desert where the heat of the sand felt strikingly real. Is this what a powerful formation can do? Suddenly, a strong wind swept through, and with through and withered figures materialized out of thin air. Though these were conjurations, he could feel the lethal intent as it were real. Far from afraid, he was thrilled, an ideal chance to gauge his strength. With that thought, he unsheathed his weapon and sprang forward. He plunged into the crowd, cutting down his foes with ruthless sword strokes. After absorbing the crystal pill, he found it easier to channel his power. He summoned his inner strength, and energy burst forth from his sword. In a flash, icy arcs sliced through, shattering the monsters into fragments just as he readied for a break. In moments, dozens of more powerful monsters appeared again from thin air. The man suddenly recalled his father's words, recognizing it as a reminder. Within the illusion array, all foes must be defeated with limited strength. In real combat, there's no time to recover strength. Yet, this excited the man even more. Only constant life or death battles confused past insights with the present. Thus, he grew faster and his strikes more precise. At his final moment of exhaustion, the last monster fell to his sword. Simultaneously, the illusion dissipated. The stone door opened, revealing a completion message on the tablet beside it. Congratulations on passing the trial. We hope you contribute to the growth of the Heavenly Demon Sect. The man finally looked relieved. The little Heaven Cave trial was over. While it took his father 2 months to pass, he did it in just 1 day. If the news got out, it would cause a stir and people would suspect him of cheating. To avoid suspicion, he decided to stay and continue honing his skills until he fully mastered his insights. After 100 days, he stood before his father, feigning disappointment, saying he tried his best but couldn't break his father's record. Father casually asked, "Did you manage to crack that iron sphere?" "Yes, I cracked it. I found the weak spot thanks to your hint," he responded. "And even in the final illusion, I didn't grasp." Upon hearing this, a slight smile crept onto his father's lips. It wasn't mocking or a sneer, but genuine delight. But that smile vanished almost instantly. "It appears you aren't as foolish as I thought," he commented. "Naturally, considering who my father is," he boasted. The man used to think his father was cold and ruthless. He appeared to relish watching his children fight each other for leadership. But now he realized it was all for the purpose of the future of the Heavenly Demon Sect was marred by sibling conflict. Suddenly, a voice broke the silence. "Young master, you're amazing. Complete a little Heaven Cave trial in 100 days. Visitor, Sima Ming, the sect's chief advisor." Yet he was more than just the chief advisor. He also led the Heaven-Reaching Pavilion, the sect's intelligence wing, commanding great authority and his father's trust. After being greeted, Sima Ming smiled knowingly. Smiling, he said, "I want to discuss a matter concerning the sect with you." Puzzled just out of the Heaven Cave and approached for discussion. A sect matter meaning. It must be his father's will. A few days ago, we got an anonymous tip-off letter. The letter mentioned corruption in the demon army. We received a similar report last year. Huangquan Pavilion sent investigators, but they ultimately failed. The investigators were killed, and even the demon army members who killed them took their own lives. The man was visibly startled by the news. The demon army is an elite force of Heavenly Demon Sect, known for ruthless members. Their leader is the younger brother of the Blood Sky Saber Demon. What's his connection to this? Therefore, I hope the second young master can lead the investigation.